Okay, I'll be glad to answer these questions in more detail later when we meet live, but just as a quick review, I had questions about this section of 12.2, just this little bit here, and then a couple of questions, the last two on 12.3. So, quickly, on number 35, this thing is just the formula for the whole whatever, like for the whole list. So, our little formula tells us n over 2, and then a sub 1. Again, the book doesn't have the 1, plus a sub n. So that's the nth term. Now, most of the time, there's going to be a number there. But in this case, they didn't give us a number. They gave us a formula, but that's okay. We just substituted in. So n over 2, that's from the formula. The first term, that's here. And then the last term, which in this case is a formula, but it really doesn't matter. So we put it in, and then when I simplify all of this bit, I get 1 minus 1, that's none, so it's just the 2n, times this simplifies to n squared, which is what they got in the back of the book. All right, this one is a little bit more complicated, even though at first it seems like it won't be, because it's n over 2, first term, last term. We put that in, but the n is still in the problem, and we need to get rid of it. And remember, the n tells us what position that number was in, so we need to figure out what position the 70 was in. Now, one way to do that is to find a pattern. 2 was in the first position, 4 is in the second position, 6 is in the third position. The position is just half, so the position is 35. If you need a formula for that, usually, truthfully, you can just find some shortcut to tell you what position it's in. But if you need a formula, what you do is go back to that original, the way we write it. So this is first term plus the common difference times n minus 1, which is the formula we talked about earlier in the section. And we know it equals 70, and this time we want to know the n. So I solved that little thing to get 35. But again, usually there's some shortcut. So then I take that 35, because the n, remember, is the position that it's in. The last number here is in. We wanted to add up the first 35 terms, because 70 is the 35th number. So that's what goes right here. From 12.3, it was the last two problems he asked about, and I'll acknowledge I'm not going to give you the answer they got in the back of the book, because I'm not going to give you any problems like this on a test or practice test. You won't be given one that has this. All of the questions you'll be given will just be like this, in which case we're asking for the sum of the infinite series, not to go to this, but to go on forever, which is actually an easier formula. So first term over 1 minus the common difference. And in this case, the common difference is 2, because it's multiplied by 2 each time. So it's just this, which gives you an answer of negative 1/4. You'll notice that that negative 1/4 was in the answer that's in the back of the book, but then they also have some other stuff in the parentheses, and that's because they're finding the sum of the first n terms, just the way we did up here. But I don't want that. I want just the number part. So you just need this simpler version of the formula. So in light of that, try number 41. And again, your answer should be the number that's in front of the parentheses in the back of the book. Hopefully that helped with those. Be sure to send me any other questions that you have. I'll try to answer them either personally or in some kind of short video. And of course, we'll meet together for you to ask questions live. I'll have my little whiteboard out before you take the test and after you do the practice test. All right. Have a good weekend.